I'm here with Chris Lucas at Wheal Coates at something like 6:10 in the morning on quite a chilly April day.
It is freezing.
It is freezing. There are blasts of Baltic air coming from the northwest, and we are both quite chilly. But we're here today to write with light, to take photographs of the light at dawn and to tell stories.
We're going to look at the two different parts of photography, break them into two sections really. We've got the science of photography, which is all the different buttons and tricks and things that you can do with this very capable technology, but perhaps the more, certainly more creative and maybe more interesting part of it is the art side of it, of finding our visual voice and being able to tell stories through our photographs. And that you can do literally with any camera. It doesn't matter what settings you've got, what capability you've got on it. It's about finding interesting light and how it affects the subject, and then communicating that through your photograph to someone else that's looking at it. When you're up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning, dragged out by your friend to see these places, you get things like this that you would only experience at this time of day, that you've got lovely soft light coming on this part of the arch, and then that kind of goes through this archway into that window, then you can see the sea beyond. Yes, we could ramp up the filters and make it look warm, but I mean, if you look at this rock, the light is just bouncing off.
My eye might be drawn to this rock here because it seems to, it's not a rock, it's a wall. It seems to offer something, a sense of maybe isolation. This rock face here is cracking, isn't it?
It is, and I think what's quite, I mean, it all depends on your perspective, doesn't it? But that rock face there is quite literally the history, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got layer on layer of turbulent times with the geology of it, the different sort of layers of rock there that have quite literally been bent by the power of nature.
Yeah.
So you've got an interesting story in there if you can find it.
I suppose I'm looking for that blue, really.
Yeah.
How would I go about getting that with my smartphone? I mean, I can go close.
Yeah.
I suppose that if I go close and I look up,
you can change a lot with your perspective, and that's one of the reasons that we were saying to start with, to have a really good rummage about before you even get your phone out. Because as you get in close, you start to find all sorts of little micro dramas going on within the rock. You've got tiny little folds, different colorations going on. So there's a lot of things that we can do with composition there. Like you've already said, going in low and looking up. Well, that will tend to make things look a lot bigger and a lot more powerful, a lot more imposing, coming down on you. Looking from above has the kind of the opposite effect, that on people it can be flattering, but on objects it will make them feel a bit smaller, a little bit further away, a little bit less threatening, which can work nicely. And then you've also got colour theory, like you mentioned blue. In this rock you've got a lot of red as well, so blues will tend to regress to the back while the reds jump forward. what you've got at the moment is that really punchy blue that you loved so much to start with, but you've also created a bit of foreground interest with your isolated bit of wall. So I mean, you can get a bit overexcited, I guess, with the description of it, but in some ways you've got a really stormy sea, and then you've got the isolation of this section of wall that's left alone. That is a story, isn't it? That you can build a framework around that. The more isolated you can make that chunk of wall, the more emotional connection you'll end up with the image. And the joy of digital photography, be it on a phone or a normal camera, of course, is you can take as many photographs as you like, so you're not limited from that point of view. But quite often just having a bit of a move around before you fully commit yourself is quite nice.
So Chris and I will be running some courses over the summer, and these courses will be some storytelling courses, and Chris is going to be leading Writing with Light, which is a course we're going to be running every week, which will be very much like what we've done today, that journey to take that photograph using whatever you have at hand, whether that's a digital SLR like we're using today, or a smartphone. Taking a great photograph is not just about having the right kit, it's about being aware of what's around you. What can people expect on Writing with Light, Chris?
I think it's a really nice opportunity to slow everything down, experience an environment from a different angle, so to speak. And I think one of the nice things about photography is you start noticing everything around you, the way the light plays on it, and it's not your normal way of experiencing this kind of local environment. And we obviously know all the sort of nooks and crannies that we can get into that make that hopefully a bit more interesting and just a really nice experience.